opposing mid. So if they were to either A, get a really aggressive ward early off of a smoke or something, and be able, in order to be able to see where the mid ward is going to be placed, or they tried to go for a D ward, that they could potentially exploit that and get a first blood. But no such luck here, and it does look like we're just going to be having normal lanes as expected. Just to be clear, it is going to be Zai playing the Dragonites and off-lane DK, while Yapster is backing him up on the 4-position sniper at bottom lane against the duo of Lich Slark, one of the more potent Slark lanes, I would say, just because Lich really makes up for Slark's relative weakness at level 1 and 2.
Yeah, definitely. Lich is just probably the best lane harasser in the game currently. And look at Puppy.
Look at Puppy, yeah.
He actually set up a ward for this. Very interesting. I mean, it's pretty nice when you have a lone druid and they're playing on Dire safe lane. You know that the creep wave is going to start so close to your tower that you don't need to help him at level 1. So you may as well
yeah, Ilias. He tried to go for the range creep there, I think. He wanted to nuke. Because that's one of the advantages, right? Is you want a support that is able to nuke down range creeps, because Slark can't do it himself.
Yeah, no way.
And they just, seeing that, they exploit that pretty quickly.
And Zai actually starts with a stun. A lot of DKs, you see them in pubs, they just click that old Dragon Blood. But sometimes starting with that stun, especially with the Sniper and an Enchantress, that'll give you enough time to kill almost anyone.
Yeah, and it's not like they can't just continue this tri-lane, especially since they didn't really ward or block the creep camp, so Enchantress will keep on getting neutral creeps here. They have a safe lane lone druid. Like, he doesn't really want a laning partner, particularly since he can play the distance against this Mox.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I don't really see how Rubik Mars is able to pressure a lone druid solo. It's not some, like, Sand King Lina, where it's this heavy kill lane, and you need somebody there to help him out. Really, this is... Rubik Mars is all about playing like the slow harass lane, but Lone Druid just heals. He's got that Spirit Link.
So how do you think the mid matchup goes? Because Zeus, I believe, is a counter to Necrophos, but not a laning phase counter.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a game counter. I mean, Necrophos' whole thing in the lane. Oh, bottom lane.
Crystallize needs the pounce. Look at Zai. He keeps on getting in front of him, and he blocks the pounce to get the kill. Nicely done by Secret. Over to middle. Nisha, Slayer. He's saying that top lane, it's useless for me to be up there, so let me try and make some action happen in mid lane. He is going to suicide to the tower just to kind of reset. He's not giving up an experience anyway, so no harm, no foul in that regard.
I love that rotation from Slayer. It makes so much sense to not just sit up there and basically play into Secret's hand. Very quick at recognizing that Secret wanted that Lone Druid solo. Not giving them what they want.
Now he's going to show up in the bottom lane.
Dude, the couriers.
These
ward
couriers,
is so
man.
good. This ward by Puppy. It is scouting so many couriers. Oh, although,
Yapsor, they do manage to get a courier in return and also bring Yapsor down. The rotation by Sion the Slayer. Nicely played. I think what that's so funny about this ward is, yeah, they are naturally going to think it's behind the tower, and it's not. It's up by that tier 2 area, and they're just judging. I mean, you could easily judge the distance, right? Even as you lose sight, you know exactly where it should be. Well,
they're so slow too with the early couriers, so it's just like you just wait and it'll come very slowly, but it'll be there.
This is a word that I've been using when I've been spamming that 4-position Weaver, because it's the same thing, right? As long as I know the courier's coming in the lane, with Weaver, it's so easy. Like Shikuchi, I run so quickly to get behind the tower, and if I have Geminate attack, then it's a one-shot on the courier.
Right. I mean, honestly, any boots 4 it seems really good on. Any of these 4s that like kind of wants to play in the enemy jungle, like stopping pulls and things like that, may as well just go for some easy courier snipes. Do people really utilize the early wards anyway? I feel like at least in most pubs, it's not super well utilized. Even in competitive games, people sometimes don't even buy the early wards because they just consider them useless.
Yeah, I mean, we have such, like, a little bit more static laning phase, right? Because, like, all of the roaming 4 positions are not really in meta. The most notable being, like, Earth Spirit.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. People just kind of chill in lanes these days.
Feels like the off lane is kind of, like, it's on equal respect of the safe lane now.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
I mean,
like, you're going to win what you want to win one. Doesn't really matter which one.
No, I mean, teams are even throwing like a Chen plus a carry in the offlane these days because it doesn't really matter. It just matters that you win one of those lanes.
2 to 3, 5-minute bounty is about to come up, and of course the aggressive tri-lane from Secret should be able to secure both here, but Matumba Man, this is the special advantage that the Lone Druid has. He can always put the bear out to a bounty rune somewhere on the map and use Savage Roar to scare away the opposing players, so it's kind of like they should always be able to get a freebie.
Oh, look at this. Yeah,
Slayer.
Scouting Slayer.
He's on the run. Shrapnel is going to slow him down enough that Nisha will get here with Lightning Bolt. Slayer, I think, hoping to be able to get a neutral creep deny, is trying to draw the aggro, but get it. Nisha claims the kill. Back over to bottom lane, though. Ilias turns around, tries to go off that last Frost Blast that surely would have killed the Enchantress. Looks like Crystallize was able to get the kill anyway, but a Dragon Tail stun, Zai with a Fire Breath, and that is Crystallize going down, and a 2-for-1.
They're really punishing this Slark pick, who is just so abysmal in the laning stage against basically anything other than just these like solo melee strength offlaners. But when there's an Enchantress there, when there's a sniper that's peeping around, it's quite difficult to play this hero. Not a very good laner.
Look at Magical just bully the hell out of Nisha. He is almost level 7, and Nisha is actually farther away from level 6 than Magical is to level 7.
Yeah, this is he's doing the Sumail tactic, which is to just push the wave and then kind of create the next equilibrium between the tier 1 and the tier 2, zoning Nisha from the creeps that are dying to tower. It's very annoying and difficult to deal with. You honestly need a support to come in, which is exactly what Puppy's doing with this Centaur creep.
Yeah, this kind of play really abuses the fact they don't have the best rotating supports, right? On the other side, Na'Vi, they have excellent supports to make rotations because they do have very clear nukes and stuns, but you know, a magical cutting creep wave and a Enchantress or Sniper shows up, you just kind of laugh it off. You're like, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Uh-oh, Pasha. Pasha's in trouble at the top lane. He's probably going to die here as he's been rooted to the spot. Looks like he was trying to back lane a little bit, but Matumba Man goes out of his way to shut that down. Now a stun from Zai. Zai, who pushed that bottom tower, TP's into mid to use the rest of his dragon form to be able to find a second kill for Matumba Man.
Very efficient play from Secret here, abusing that double support rotation on mid to get the bot tower, also pressure top. The Matumba Man knows that it's just a Mars up there. He can play very aggressive with the bear, chasing him around. And Secret, they're a team that whenever you look somewhere on the map and something bad is happening to them, they are almost always taking a trade. And, you know, usually they're taking the better trade. They're very good at doing this.
Oh, no. He was so close to being able to live there. Pasha at the top lane trying to get around this wall to stay away from the bear, and he will manage to save his own life. Ilias actually dying to the neutral creeps. Didn't see that one. Looks like Zai came over, but didn't manage to get the last hit on the kill. Oh, he got rooted by the
goddamn
Prowlers. What a
purple
disaster.
Creep. God damn, those purple creeps, man. They are the worst thing. Ice Frog, please.
Magical TP'd up to the top lane, but a good Savage Roar pushed him away. So Matumba Man was able to escape from some very aggressive action. They got to break down the laning phase right now, though, because they've lost their safe lane tower. They haven't taken a safe lane tower in return, and Pasha hates his life in this top lane. He does not want to be here anymore. And this is not like the Brewmaster game from earlier where you are just your ultimate. Mars, you definitely need some items.
Yeah, oh, for sure, for sure. I do like Magical going to this top lane to lane against the Lone Druid, but man, Matumba Man seems like he's maybe a little too big to just get bullied off like this. Magical taking quite a lot of damage from that bear. They are managing to get a bit of chip damage on the tower.
Puppy will pull it off with the Wolf. The two supports are going to back up Magical. He's their strongest hero at this point, so very important that they play around him. See them continue that play, just because it seemingly was so effective at giving the other two cores space to recover.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. I mean, Matumba Man's just jungling up, but Puppy's taking the top lane now, and when that play was happening, Matumba Man had to deal with that wave as well, so we can very literally see what Secret is gaining from that, and they went from a 3k gold lead to a 4k gold lead at 10 minutes in.
Oh, a little bit close, but Pasha did have some magic wand charges, so he lived through that burst. So not really a wasted Thunder God's Wrath, but not what its intended use was meant to be. That was trying to get a kill. Maybe they just wanted to take the time to get neutral items on Na'Vi.
Yeah,
like maybe that's why they're playing in the triangle so much.
Right. That's definitely true. That can happen where you're just like pushing so many creep waves and you realize it's been 5 minutes since the neutral item timer passed, and you're missing out on some crucial, effective net worth.
Yeah. On poor man shield faded brooch is a hype one always.
Who's got that? Who's rocking that right now?
Nobody has it yet.
Oh, come on, guys.
On the side of Na'Vi, I don't know how.
That's a nuts item.
Yeah.
I see people hold that until like tier 3 items often.
Yeah, for sure. Like a unique source of movement speed is so value.
Yeah, of course. Windlace, I mean, everybody gets a windlace too.
Zai is going to be pulled back in. They are just going to try and surround him. Now, there is going to be a lot of rotations coming in. The arena goes out, but the spear misses, and that extra damage was crucial for them to be able to have a chance to bring down the Dragonite before Secret ends up showing up. YapzOr with the long-range assassinate should just be able to slow down Pasha. Maybe long enough for Nisha to get this last lightning bolt, but never mind. Pasha, 375 movement speed compared to Nisha's 345. Now it gets a Windlace, a little bit faster, might just be able to catch Ilias, but a little bit too deep, I believe. So he backs up. Crystallize, meanwhile, TP to the other side of the map. He wants to play away from those Secrets heroes as much as possible.
Yeah, and going a little bit better for Na'Vi because of this. Crystallize just totally avoiding the fight. Secret has to TP so many people bot to protect Zai. He is tanky, but he is definitely not tanky enough to survive those 3 heroes if there isn't a response that comes in from Secret. So Na'Vi did a very good job at just abusing that response that they knew was going to come in there.
Now this is definitely a nice deny there by Pasha. Magical. They're going to try and go onto him here. He does have a cloak to try and protect him against some of this magic damage, but there's so much of it that he's going to have to retreat. Nisha still has a chance here. He's got the Thunder God's Wrath, but it's not even needed. Zai, with the Breathe Fire, was able to claim the kill, and that was their strongest hero. Na'Vi was playing around Magical so much, but now they're just bleeding out towers. They're losing crucial heroes. This is looking like Secret is just going to build up such a large net worth lead now, as they're already up 5k, but this kind of map control, it's going to get even worse.
This is the sort of thing that I mean when I say, like, Secret just plays team fights in these little engagements so mechanically well, where they get things that a lot of other teams wouldn't. So Zai in that fight knew that Magical had the Scythe and that he was low enough to be Scythed and potentially die. And so he kind of baited there, like he was going in and out, and then Magical turns around to Scythe him, and then that's when Magical ended up dying. And Zai does this a lot, on Dragonite in particular. Like, he really likes to kite with this hero's HP regen and the low cooldown stun. And another deny from Magical.
The arena goes out in the behind. They manage to catch YapzOr. That's going to be an easy kill, but at the same time, Matubman is closing in. They're going to focus all their attention onto Zai, get a Chain Frost that continues to bounce back and forth. It's going to land onto the bear. Pasha, he's going to run straight into Nisha. Very likely go down here. So in the end, it's a 1-for-1 exchange with a buyback. They did manage to get the deny as well, so not too terrible for Na'Vi as a whole.
The map is closing in on them, though.
Yeah.
I mean, we do have the outposts in this patch, so it's never really as bad as it seems when you lose towers. You know, it could be worse, but we've already talked about the fact that there just isn't a comeback gold factor anymore. So it's I suppose it's about even with the outposts and not having comeback gold. Ilias just eats it. Oh man. He looked almost AFK there.
You know, this is so hard because these ranged backliners, and I think this might have been a bit of an oversight by Na'Vi. They needed Pasha to have a good game because he's the only playmaker that they have. They have a Necrophos and Slark cores. They're just not online. They want to keep on. They're very static heroes that want to keep on farming. And if their only playmaker isn't anywhere close to a playmaking item like the Blink Dagger that he so desperately needs, then this Zeus and Sniper have so much space to abuse Na'Vi over and over again. There's no real recompense for any of the moves that they make.
Yeah, definitely. They are getting close to the point where Slark can start making plays. He does almost have the Diffusal Blade, but I totally agree. I think a large reason that Na'Vi, a lot of these early towers, is because their playmaker got hit so honestly destroyed in the lane. If he had a better lane on Pasha, it's very likely he'd be behind the tower. They'd have that tier 1 tower top earlier on into the game. That seems to be kind of how Mars likes to play in an ideal game too, is to just be that kind of person that's in the enemy team's face for the entire match and making space for your team. But he definitely cannot do that right now.
It also should be noted that this is the way that Na'Vi has played and has succeeded in making comebacks before, right? Is being able to have a timing that is later on in the game. And it does mean that you can't get run over by some of these better teams, but they're going to keep on split pushing. They're going to keep on grinding it out. And as you said, Crystallize, he's closing in on his timing. He has Diffuser Blade, so he can't sort of fight. Once he gets Shadow Blade, it'll be a lot better for him. Same goes with Magical, right? Once he gets his, if he can get a full-out pipe, it'd be great, but even just the hood is getting him that much closer. Like, these heroes were very weak 5 minutes ago, and you know, give them another 5 minutes and they may actually be able to stand toe-to-toe against Secret. But that's just presuming they don't lose anything more than what they've already lost.
For sure. They need these items to jump the back line. Like, there's no way to win these fights without jumping the Zeus and the Sniper. We know it.
Pasha.
Yeah, he's doing the old wrap around with the Quelling Blade.
That's so cool because it's so hard for him to make plays without Blink Dagger right now. So he has to do unique things like this, yeah.
But Nisha actually sniffs it out. He was playing to the bottom right of the tower, which is not very typical. He was usually he'll play behind the tower and just like in the tower, maybe even in the trees where Pasha was, which is exactly why Pasha was doing it. So Nisha has been on point this game with his predictions.
Dude, how sad is this? You get spotted out by a bear. That leads to an assassination, so you can't hide or TP. And then you're probably just going to die. Crystallize is actually going to go onto Matumba Man here. They have the Reaper Sight, so they can definitely bring down Matu. He is not going to die to the Reaper Sight, but he will end up falling either way. Puppy, he's going to be momentarily saved by a Glimmer Cape. They do spot him. They want to go for Nisha, but at the same time, Crystallize, he doesn't have a whole lot else to work with. The assassination isn't quite enough, but the Lightning Bolt that rains in from Nisha will be enough. Na'Vi get greedy and underestimate the staying power that Secret has there. They blew everything they had to be able to kill Matumba Man. They really didn't have anything else.
Yeah, and I think in retrospect, in this draft, the Zeus and the Sniper are both really good answers to the Slark. He was out of range there. Like, he could have survived that if it was any other heroes against him. But with the Zeus and the Sniper, they have the range, they have the vision that he's not getting his ultimate regen. So he's just not able to get away like a lot of normal Slarks would normally be able to get away.
With that, Na'Vi, they did actually gain a bit of ground in net worth overall. And Pasha is closing in on that Blink Dagger, which will significantly help this lineup, I think. They just don't have very often a very clear source of initiation. Most of the time when they walk away with some sort of kill, it's because it was a trade-off where a hero overextended, like how Matumba Man was going in for the Lich, and because of that, they had the positioning for Slark to close that gap.
Yeah, that was basically the cost of like the cheeky bear play that Secret did. Was the... I think we wanted them to succeed in that, and they wanted to succeed in that just because it was so silly to like pop the Lich with all the ranged abilities with just the bear. But then of course Matumba Man going in for the kill ends up dying.
Oh, almost done for Magical. That is a huge kill. If they can actually taste Zeus out of this fight, then there's just not a ton of damage left for Secret. Are they going to continue? The Zai, yeah, he's going to go forward, stuns up Ilias, but there is just the assassination to follow that up. And if anything, they're a little bit out of position now. Crystallize sees this opportunity to catch Zai. One slow followed by a second one. Now Zai is very tanky, no doubt, but once they get him below that health point, then the Reaper's Scythe should be enough to cut him down. Matumba Man is cutting in from the side, though. They want to be able to fight this Zai. He's kiting this out, and Crystallize is already a little bit low, and now he's been feared up. He does manage to get off his ultimate, though. Crystallize, trying to heal up, is going to be able to TP. Oh, the root first hit!
Are you kidding me? Oh, no.
Jenkins, you said Zai loves to be able to kite things out with his Dragonite, and there was a great example of that. He baited them in for so long that Matumba Man was able to come in and win that fight for them.
Am I crazy? Oh, okay, actually, Pasha is... He has a blink, but Zai does too. Oh, boy. Yoink. Just like that, Nisha steals the kill. But am I crazy to say that this offlane Dragonite is just, it feels to me like Timbersaw, like another Timbersaw.
Yeah.
With the Dragon Blood max, where you're basically, you just want the enemy team to commit stuff on you. And I know it kind of sounds obvious in retrospect after seeing these fights, but that's not how DK was played in the mid lane. You were a damage dealer, you were a tower taker, you were like a frontliner. Timber's very different. Like his entire existence relies on playing at low HP, baiting the enemy team to think that you're vulnerable when you're really not. And it really feels like that's how Zai is thinking about this Dragonite.
Yeah, a combination of how tanky he was plus the movement speed he had in Dragon form allowed him to stay mostly ahead of Na'Vi, and that successful fights and leads into enough map control for them to be able to get Roshan. So now they've got an Aegis on Nisha, which is really the only exploited point there that was for Na'Vi, which is if they can get Nisha first, then they've got a pretty good chance of winning the fight, or at least walking away from it feeling pretty happy. But now with a second life, like who do you go on? Who do you try and jump first?
Yeah, I mean, it's
still gonna try, though. Pasha is gonna be able to be right there. Nisha instantly heals him up, preventing the spear. Pasha, you gotta land this one, and he does manage to hit him, but it's only gonna be that first life, and the rest is secret. They're closing in fast, and they're looking to be able to catch some people. Magical gets rooted up on that first hit right before he goes shrouded, so this is a disaster for him. He's gonna get banged on by Mataba Man. That's gonna lead eventually to a second route, where Nisha will get there with all of his magic damage for the double kill.
just like that. This is looking pretty damn over for Na'Vi. It really feels like Secret has their number. They're I think with this Lone Druid Desolator, they're going to snowball and take every outer tower, take Roshan, and Na'Vi's going to have to mount some sort of crazy base defense. But they don't have great high ground defenders other than like Lich, I guess, with the Frost Armor. But I don't know, against a Lone Druid Bear with the Desolator, it doesn't feel like it's going to be enough.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, this guy's gonna rip apart towers as soon as they win him. One more fight, and then it's just gonna be Lane of Barracks easily.
Dude, shout out to this Glimmer Cape on Puppey. This has been a complete lifesaver in all of these fights. He's either saving Nisha with it, or he's making them have to commit everything on Nisha or Matumba or on Zai on the DK with the Glimmer. Because think about the heroes on Na'Vi. None of these cores are gonna buy detection. Right? None of them have slots for it, and the supports are backliners. So who's gonna detect the Glimmer Cape? Lich has to run in and die to do it, or Rubik, and that's been happening. That's literally how Zai is like getting the stuns on these supports, is that the Glimmer's baiting the supports in to use the detection.
Pasha was set up to maybe take a fight at top lane, but too many heroes showed up, so instead he's going to be cutting waves. But just one creep wave is enough for Secret to be able to take that tier 2 tower. Nobody can really get close enough to
Yeah,
them.
Lone Druid DK.
Has
It's
been killed.
that is all they need. Good lord, look at that damage. He's got a Dragon Scale too on the bear.
Hey, that was a hype pick-off, though. He managed to stop the Aghanim Scepter from Yapsor. Killed the Kurd.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah, that's huge. We talked about the lack of teamfight ultimates on Secret, and definitely that Aghanim Scepter.
Oh no, Pasha! He started the TP right as Nisha kind of showed up. He popped his Thunder God's Wrath, and now with no Mars, they know, okay, you guys can just keep going and force this push all the way into Lane of Barracks. They're going to lead off with a stun on a Magical. There is going to be the help of the Frost Shield as best as possible. The magic damage isn't quite enough. Magical will live through this, but at the same time, he doesn't have the mana to stick around either. Secret, having forced him back, don't have a creep wave to work with, though, so backdoor protection is
Nisha's
back
pushing
up.
mid, though. They've got the mid wave coming in. Nisha's definitely calling for that right now. He's like, guys, I got mid wave. Just wait.
Well, with Pasha showing, maybe they could go for another push, or maybe...
There's a couple things they could do right now. They could do the full sweep and just push Crystallize out of his own jungle, which it does look like they're doing that, or they could go Roche. But it looks like they're going for the sweep. Just push Na'Vi into their base. Like, you guys shouldn't be out here. We're winning this game. You can't farm. Get in your base.
And by Roche, you mean, like, just control the map until second Roshan is up.
Oh, sorry. Okay, Roche is definitely...
You're supposed to say yes. That's what I meant.
Yes.
I'm always there to bail
me
you
out,
out.
Cap. I appreciate it.
But yes, not another 4 minutes until potential Roshan spawn timing.
Right, I forgot Nisha like walked in and immediately lost the Aegis.
Dire
So Na'Vi, we said in the pregame, they're going to have to do some split pushing shenanigans. That's part of their core identity. And when you're locked inside your base, split pushing is your only opportunity to get some net worth. And Posh is out there, but this is part of the problem. They have so many heroes that can operate independently on Secret, and they've got really good ways to spot you. So, for example, here, Pasha, if he'd been hit by the assassination, then he just may not have been able to escape at all.
Right, and Nisha's about to have his full Aghanim Scepter on Zeus, which means that TP cancel that we saw on Pasha is not going to be so clutch. You know, it's pretty easy to cancel TPs when you could just Zeus ulti and then, you know, pop the Nimbus on the split pushing hero. It's going to be very difficult for Pasha to keep doing what he's doing right now.
Yeah, how do you blink TP ever against Assassination plus Nimbus?
It sounds
like they're seeing exactly where you're going, both through Assassination and Thunder. I have two different mini stuns that are near global to be able to catch you. Nimbus, and then if you're anywhere near the sniper, then he's going to find you. But Taliban, they're actually right on top of him. Crystallize, he's going to go for this kill. They're going to manage to telekinesis and blow him up so quickly. That was great. He was in range for him, and they didn't let him get off Savage Roar. Just beautiful. Going to cost Pasha his life, though, as he was drawing a lot of attention in the bottom lane. But a brilliant trade-off for Na'Vi, no doubt.
Does give Magical some space top, too, at least, and now he can possibly pick up this tier 1 tower just by virtue of the creeps. They definitely need this map control, and this is the tower around the Roshan pit, which is going to be the next objective.
What do you think about Yule's Scepter as his next item? Ilias, he's dead. That's just a natural support pickoff that can happen anywhere around the map if they're outside of their base.
I think Yule's is good. I mean, it's just something to... If Lone Druid's on him, he's sitting on shrapnels in the Zeus thing. It's like just delays his death a little bit longer, which means potentially his team can get off a little bit more damage in the fights.
I felt a little bit better about Lotus Orb, just because, okay, you get a bit of armor, that's helpful. The fact that you can put it on allies, right, to be able to stop a root or stop a the Savage Roar.
That's about
good
right.
TP cancel onto Slayer. This is just what's going to happen. If you're going to back up on split pushing, then Zeus is one of the best answers to it.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's why it's a counter to Tinker. Tinker's just standing in trees, TPing all the time, and it's the exact reason that he's good against any form of split pushing and teleportation. It's just so easy to camp.
Yeah, it's incredible how like these sort of things in drafts really come together, where we can see part of it from our perspective as analysts. We can see, okay, this game, no doubt, but then it also matches into what Navi's playstyle has been for this tournament so well.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I definitely did not clue into that in the draft, but in retrospect, it's so good against. I mean, usually Magical is on a split pushing hero too. Like, I feel like that is another potential issue with Navi's draft. If we are talking about maybe they should stick to Comfort, is that Magical is on this Necrophos hero, which, yes, is a counter to the Dragon Knight and the Lone Druid, certainly very good against these heroes. But usually he's on something like a Queen of Pain or a Monkey King or whatever that can just hit lane creeps and split put. He does that, he's gonna die, so he's just kind of standing in base the entire time.
Let me list like the last 10 heroes as we're gonna watch Crystallize go down. He's been, oh, they do have it. His ultimate just did not last quite long enough, Yule's, to stop the TP, but to your point, Magical has played Monkey King, Queen of Pain, Death Prophet, Ember Spirit, Monkey King, Void Spirit. Like, those are all playmaking, run around the map, kill heroes.
Yeah, Necro is the polar opposite of a fast hero. You basically stand in a single place and say, hey, come get me. But when you're playing against a 14k gold lead Secret, it's not feeling too good. You're just kind of chilling in your base the entire time. It's not been a very fun game for Magical.
Yeah, he can't even stand here in front of this tier without being in danger. As the chain stun's coming out, Magical will manage to get off the Ghost Shroud, healing himself up somewhat. Benicia continues to pursue, pushing him back to them to get some damage on tier 3 until the glyph comes out. Now the glyph is down. It is free reign for Secret. And this Lich Armor, which we said was part of the reason was to be able to slow down the game, it is not slowing it that much, as Secret are able to take that tier 3. They back up to their high ground area. Seems like no rush to force these fights right now with Roshan potentially on the table. I think
Yeah, it's just so close at this point. You may as well just go back and rush. Tier 3 is not that important these days. There's no, you can't kill the outposts with taking the tier 3s down, so it's not super important. But with that being, whenever you're playing against a lone druid, he can just shred through your barracks. So it does feel a little scary having your barracks exposed, as well as your throne, of course. And they now see that Rosh is up.
I think this smoke is like potential Rosh spawn timing, so let's take a team fight. And they're going to be able to catch easily. Ilias, he should go down. The Black Dragon out from Zai, thanks to his Aghanim Scepter, is going to allow him to just march into the base completely unimpeded. Now Pasha tries to make his initiation, going for Matumba Man. The Yule Scepter stopped his spear. He still managed to get off in the end, but because he already popped his true form, Matumba Man is too tanky. He's going to be able to get away. Pasha trying to limp out of this team fight. Ilias coming back on his second life and his second death on the table. Slayer just being slowed down by both Zai as well as Puppy. The double kill for him. A shot through the dark from Yamsor is going to be able to find a third one, and now they can just group up on Magical. He gets his Ghost Round quickly dispelled by Puppy, and that is Secret taking game number 1 in Black Dragon style.
Oh man, he looks really good on DK, which I think says a lot because there are heroes in this video game that you can play, and that just to me speaks to how crazy of a player that Zai is that he can use this hero and still look so flashy and so silly on it at the same time. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, anytime that I'm walking away and saying like, oh, I want to play that hero, then especially a hero like DK, like I want to play DK off lane now, and only Zai can make me feel that way, because like playing DK off lane is, as you said, incredibly boring.
Look at me, I'm tanky. Wow.
Yeah.
0 deaths on Zai, despite... Wait, is that right? Matumba Man definitely died. That's not right. But Zai actually did have 0 deaths. The kill counter was wrong, but Zai actually did have 0. Zai, I believe, was the only one on his team that had 0 deaths, despite every single fight basically starting with like, oh, holy crap, Zai is dying, help, oh, he's getting killed, and he still died 0 times. Like, what in God's name? What a god.
It just meant that he had the perfect read of the game, right? And how far he could really stretch it when it seemed like he was out of position. And we even said as much. That wasn't the case.
Okay, guys, so since we're talking about Zai, before we touch on Na'Vi a bit, is it safe to say that Zai is the best baiter in the game right now?
He is a master baiter for sure.
Incredibly good. Incredibly. He's probably had a lot of practice in that regard.
I see him doing it on stream all the time, too. I'll watch his stream, and I'll think about baiting myself.
Wait, he does that on stream?
So yeah, he does.
Oh, man, I got to watch some more Zai streams. I was a fan of Zai stream, but now that I know he does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does that very well.
Yeah, this is the... we talked about this a bit off stream, Ari, but this idea that a lot of these extremely good Tier 1 players... they really enjoy just winning these individual moments. It's very clear. Like I said, you can watch, jokes aside, you can watch Zai on stream, and the guy just is laughing and having. Well, actually, he doesn't really talk much on stream, but you know what I mean. Like you can tell that he's really enjoying it. He memes it up. He's playing like the most ridiculous music. He's like playing, the BBC wildlife documentaries while playing Tusk. Like he really enjoys just, I'm going to win this individual moment. I'm going to have the most fun possible in this individual moment. And I think that being in the moment in the game at all points, I'm like one of the best team fighters in the game. Like he's always on top of his mechanics in these fights.
And that is definitely apparent. Okay, now before we head into a break, I just want to see the contrast here. They were able to scale. Na'Vi was able to scale their PL last night with that last game, but in order for, of course, Na'Vi to have their way.
I think that a couple things. Secret played cleaner. So they didn't give up like any bad fights, basically. They were always growing more and more of a lead. And then the other thing is that they had the answer. Savage Roar you, or you can start a team fight, but more of specifically a reach that is designed to stop split pushing, to stop you from being able to kill a creep wave and back into the trees and TP out.
Right. I think you're 100% correct, because if you look at all of Team Secret's drafts from the previous games, they don't look anything like that, barring like the DK. They really don't. So it's very clear to me that they looked at Na'Vi, they saw exactly what Na'Vi does in every game, and they drafted against it. Because like this Zeus hero, I mean, you barely see it. You barely see it, right? It's never in any. Secret hasn't picked Lone Druid in their last like 20 matches, so it's not like these are staple Secret heroes. They just think it's really good for this particular series.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Okay, so we were talking about how.
Direct Relief has sent a lot of boxes to a lot of places. But it's never been about the boxes. It's about the compassion that fills them and the people who need them. It's not about the life-saving drugs and supplies inside the box. It's that people are alive because they were sent. It's not about sending boxes to all 50 states and more than 70 countries each year. It's the willingness to confront any crisis, cross any border, and work alongside local organizations to help people rebuild their lives, or just to stay healthy. It's not about the latest technologies or business trends. It's extending the benefits of innovation and the talents of businesses to people and communities that are often overlooked. It's not about the awards or ratings or headlines. It's the commitment to do whatever is necessary, to do it with respect, and to do it efficiently. For all the boxes Direct Relief sends, it's never about the boxes. It's the collective effort that delivers them and what that represents. Most of all, it's about what people get out of them. The opportunity.
I'm Sienna Miller, and I've been a global ambassador with International Medical Corps since 2009, seeing their life-saving work firsthand around the world. In such depth, we go deep into the hardest hit and most remote areas to reach those in greatest need. Since 1984, International Medical Corps has reached tens of millions of people in over 75 countries, saving lives with a simple idea: give people the skills and knowledge, and that investment will pay off long after the crisis has ended. More than 90% of our 7,000 staff around the world are communities we serve, taking care of people inside their own communities, easing suffering, and saving lives. We are International Medical Corps.
There you have it. If you just tuned in, those were the wonderful organizations that is with this awesome tournament and this charity prize pool, 1.5 million US dollars to these organizations committed to battling this pandemic that we are all experiencing now. And These two teams will get the lion's share of that charity prize pool. We're going to find out more about that in just a bit later at the end of this series. You were talking about, guys, how Na'Vi needed to win game 1. And we were talking about they stick to what they know. Did they execute the best possible battle plan for game 1? Because if they didn't, maybe they can do it better game 2.
You know, I feel like they probably didn't. We talked about it, and when Cap listed off Magical's heroes that he's played in the past 10 games, and it's all split pushing fast heroes, and all of a sudden he's on Necrophos to counter Team Secret's draft. I almost feel like they got baited into playing a little reactively, or drafting reactively, as opposed to drafting their comfort, which is what they've done. I mean, if they were a team that drafted reactively before, I would say go for it, you know, go guns blazing, draft reactively, but that's not what they've done. So they're just out of their comfort zone in more ways than one.
And I think it's very hard to appropriately counter draft Secret, just because it feels like there's always layers to their drafting. I mean, like just that Zeus last pick and how we talked about how it fits both into the game and it's effective against Navi's playstyle. That for me says there's levels to this drafting game that Secret are pulling into this. Meanwhile, Navi, it felt like it was very flat in that regard. So I agree with Jenkins. I think they need to go back to, like, you have to just try for your style, even if you feel like you're going to get counterpicked quite heavily by Secret. And it also, to another thing, is that Secret have been picking second pick throughout for a while now. In fact, they did it just now in this game 2, so we'll see it when the draft comes up. But also, I just see them on second pick so often, so I have to assume that they're actually actively choosing second pick. So they're willing to be counterpicked, but because of their drafting style, it feels very difficult, I think. Like when you see a 4-position sniper, you're not the most experienced at being able to read, like, okay, what is good against this? How do we counterpick this?
Right, I totally agree. Like, they will pick Queen of Pain, they'll flex it to every core role, they'll pick DK, they'll flex it to every core role. So if you're just flexing all of your heroes already, then second pick kind of seems good.
Yeah.
It can get to you, and I'm sure it would be very interesting to hear what their comms are right now, because it's probably something along the lines of like, let's just play our game, like we don't need to play to them, like we're really good at what we do, like let's just play, let's have a good time. It's something along those lines. It's like psychologically setting themselves up to basically play the game against Secret.
Definitely. So we're going to be jumping into draft in a sec. So this is not the best game that Na'Vi was supposed to play. And hopefully this game too, they shake it off and they just go with what they know best. Regardless, like you said, regardless if Secret have more layers and have more ways to answer back. Hey, you know what? If they're going to do that anyway, let's just play the game that we play best.
Yeah, and I think, we said this first game is going to be really important. And this is just going to, like, the fact that Secret dismantled Na'Vi so heavily. I do think that there's a lot of things that Na'Vi will improve on going into game 2, but it puts a very dark cloud on this series for me. It just solidifies more and more in my head that this is very likely to be a 3-1 or 3-0 for Secret. But we'll have to see, like, Na'Vi, maybe they...
First pick, yes?
Yep, Secret chose second pick, and Na'Vi, it was their choice, and they chose Radiant.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that going back into that draft? The opening, it had the magical Queen of Pain out there. They could have chosen that. They could have gone.
Like Secret's getting to them. Just the fact that they're against Secret. Like, there's no way that they don't pick magical Quap there in another series.
Yeah, they're willing to do it against like OG's opening of Grimstroke Treant Protector, right? Like, that does not sound like a fantastic Quap game, but they were willing to do it there. I don't know why you wouldn't be willing to do it in pretty much any other. Maybe it's just the DK, and they felt like the DK was too hard. Later on to the game, obviously, it's a problem with that instant stun.
Oh, well, you can get a vessel too against the DK, so it's not like there aren't options. I don't think Na'Vi picked up a vessel in the previous game. Let me check out of curiosity. No, it doesn't look like they had a vessel, and I mean I do think that's a problem. I suppose the problem is like, who's gonna get a vessel? You've Lich Rubik, your cores are Necro, Mars, and Slark vessel. You know, it's weird. It's really weird. Queen of Pain though, good vessel carrier, fantastic vessel carrier. So, I think if you're going to give the DK, you definitely need some hero that's going to pick up a vessel. Although it's not going to happen in this game. Na'Vi just doesn't want to play against it. I was going to say, I kind of feel like you need to ban Zai's DK, but I also just feel like Zai is the best player on Team Secret right now. He is just absolutely destroying in every single game. I can't watch Zai without being constantly impressed by the stuff that he's doing. These little individual mechanics where it's like, man, you have to be in the zone, but this guy seems like he's always in that state, you know? It's just so impressive. So I almost feel like banning out the DK is not the correct approach. I think you just need to itemize to deal with Zai's hero, whatever it is, because he's going to have a fine game regardless of what you give him right now.
I think a lot of what speaks to how good Zai is as a player is when you talk to other players about like who you would build a team around or who's like one of the best players in the world right now. Zai's name comes up despite his personality being rather understated. He's kind of a quiet guy, and his position is also not the best position to shine on, right? You think of 1 and 2 positions. Who do I want to build a team around? I want to build one around goddamn Thompson or Miracle. Those guys carry games, you know? Like, but Zai's name routinely comes up, despite him being a 3 or 4 position, and despite him being a quieter character, and not the person that you instantly think of when it comes to Dota names in general, right? But his name is always one of the first to come out of people's mouths when it comes to who do I want to build a team around.
That's
it's
so
like
fun.
what's it called? You know how rappers say, "I'm your favorite rapper's favorite rapper." It's like
yeah.
Zai is like your favorite player's favorite player.
It's so funny you said that. I was interviewing Gork as well, asking what team would you have if you want to go against guys?
He's a legend, man.
Sorry about that. Going to the draft. This is a first pick Bane.
Yep. Kind of taking it away from Secret too, because Puppy is constantly playing this Bane hero. With that being said, Na'Vi does like to pick these frontlining bully position 5s a lot of the time, so this does also fit into their drafting sort of style. So it's I mean, 2 birds, 1 stone, I suppose.
Yeah, if you're willing to draft Ogre, it says something about how you treat the laning phase.
Oh, the pain!
Definitely.
They got the co-op,
and they pick the queen. They kind of feel the same way we do. That Na'Vi probably is going to go back to their standard, their bread and butter. So they. Just a great.
They did it. They did it in Game 3 against Alliance. They won 2 to QoP. Other times it'll be in the second phase pick for them, but
such a good hero to pair the QoP with too. If you do run the QoP in the offlane, and now the puck comes out, which I do believe will probably be like a magical puck, but Queen of Pain can play in a side lane. Puck. Not so much these days, because it is just a good hero against Queen of Pain with the coil. Like, Queen of Pain cannot be as elusive as she usually feels.
Yeah, to be honest, I was expecting more of, like with the Bane pickup, the fact that you had Tusk, I thought they were going to pick up like Pango for Pasha, because it's a traditional offlaner that does not get abused by Tusk as hard as other heroes, right? All the strength offlaners, they're totally abused by Tusk because they, while lacking mobility, are just like naturally so much tankier than everybody else. But Tusk, like you show up in a tri lane with a Tusk and you could beat anybody down. So you have to be able to dodge that. Puck can be good against that, right? Because Snowball, he's got mobility thanks to his
Actually,
aura.
yeah, I agree. I think Puck might be a good offlaner because of the Tusk. I remember.
I'm just not sure if Navi's going to go that route, you know? Or if they're willing to draft. I don't know when the last time they drafted Pasha.
Pasha doesn't like play these int heroes lately. At least lately, he doesn't play the Enchantresses and the Death Prophet offlanes and the Queen of Pains. These kind of new meta weird offlaners. Like, he really is all about the Mars, the Centaur, the standards. But against Tusk, like back when Puck was the hero, It always felt so good against like Tusk and Clock. These heroes that are like, I'm gonna run up to you and hit you, and it's like, all right, I'm just gonna orb away. Cool, see ya.
Yeah, I feel like the non-standard offlaners, those were mostly drafted for Pasha when he was on VP. I feel like I haven't seen any of those heroes, like I mentioned the Phoenix, right? I remember seeing a Pasha Phoenix. I know I've seen Pasha Puck a fair amount of times, but I feel like it's been a long time since I've seen those. So I don't know if it's a Navi thing. I don't know if it's a Pasha thing since he's on a different team. He just wants to continue with what he feels best with, but it's sort of an interesting, and again, maybe something that could play a versatility. It looks like he played Puck 3 months ago. So yeah, it goes to show like how little Navi drafts that sort of thing for him.
Yeah, that's I mean, it's maybe a good test to see. Like maybe you do need to be picking your offlaners these kind of non-traditional heroes if you want to compete with the best. Because I do feel like a lot of the tier 1 teams these days are. Their mid laner might be mid, or their mid laner might be in the safe lane, or they might have their true carry in the mid lane. Like Dota, over the last couple of years, to me, the roles have been kind of dissolving to some degree, and it's just about having a good game, having good heroes for the game, having good heroes for a lane, and it doesn't really matter if it's mid or if it's off lane. You know, it's at least that's what the trend looks like to me.
Question, guys. It's a bit early in the draft, and we were talking about maybe Navi should just stick to what they know. Is Secret still on their heads, or are reverting back to, what's comfortable for them?
I think it depends. If their puck is going mid and it's just straight up a magical puck, then Secret may not be in their heads, but they're still getting an advantage in the draft, I think, because they could just as easily run Quap side lane for Nisha or for Zai, right? So if they are being traditional, then they're not getting an advantage in the draft like they're hoping, because this puck is not counterpicking the Queen of Pain when it comes to lanes and such. And if they are in their head, if they feel like they do need to be versatile, and they do have to shift this puck into an off lane potentially, depending on where this Queen of Pain goes and yada yada yada, like it's good theoretically, but it also is not what we feel like is Navi's greatest strengths.
That is interesting.
Yeah,
we will see that for sure. You guys were talking about Magical had heroes that can just run at you and kill.
For him, I feel like that fits with his style. Maybe a bit not enough carry potential. Like usually he plays heroes that are mid and fast, but also scaling, like Ember Spirit, Void Spirit. I mean, like where the hell has Void Spirit been this entire time? Why are we not seeing this hero anymore? I feel like it still owns.
That is a good question.
But,
Lich.
Oh man, Navi feels really squishy. They feel really squishy. Need something to frontline, and I mean the Mars is still available, so
So this could be an off-lane Magnus. It could be a safe lane carry style Magnus, or mid, either way.
Yeah.
This is just kind of interesting, because I think the more core 1 or 2 position Magnus is better when you have minus armor, because he does so much physical damage when you build him like a core. So I could see the Venge facilitating that type of style.
Doesn't Venge give Venge gives base damage now, right? Percentage base damage. So
yeah.
I think so. I have to check, but she either gives percentage base damage or flat base damage, which of course is going to pair really nicely with the Magnus Empower, which works off of that base damage. And at the very least, it's a nice damage aura. And then it also gives like the attack range, if I recall correctly. And then TA into the Queen of Pain. So if they do run the Queen of Pain mid with Team Secret, then the TA is going to not do so great in the lane necessarily, but then they have a puck versus Queen of Pain as a important core. So I do feel like that would actually be pretty good for the game for Navi if the Quap goes mid.
And it's the most like classic, iconic, magical hero. I think his Templar Assassin is something really to be feared. Going back to the puck discussion, looking at it, so they played puck 4 different times 3 months ago on Navi. Okay. Seemed like they had like a little bit of experiment that was going on, like, oh, maybe this puck off lane is good for us. But before that, they never drafted it for him. Before 3 months ago, it was indeed on VP that Pasha was playing puck. So it seems like our anecdotal evidence is actually completely true, that Na'Vi just hasn't been drafting this for him so much. But it's nice to see that they are willing to go for it, because I think theoretically, like, if you are playing the best kind of Dota, this is how it should go, right? Where this puck should probably be an offlaner up against the Tusk, and you should hide your mid position a little bit longer.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you know, this TA too, like picking this into a Magnus, I think Mag is not particularly great for TA in the mid lane if you do run that matchup, because you're probably happier if you're the TA and you're just running around free farming. So that's pretty nice. We've seen what Magical can do with the TA, so I want to give him free farm.
Here's a curious question. I mean, right now we're looking at Na'Vi experimenting and trying to, you know, move out from the comfort zone a bit. But should they have done this after maybe they played what was comfortable for them first and then maybe experiment rather than the other way around?
You could go either way with it, honestly. It's I know I say this a lot, but Dota to me is a lot of guess and check, where you just you just kind of follow your gut on what you think is going to work, and it either does or it doesn't. And if it doesn't, you just kind of write it off until the next patch or the next meta shift, and you want to try it. And it just kind of feels like a random thing that they're doing, where it's like, all right, let's just try this and see how it goes. Like, you're correct, Cap. It is going to be a Pasha offlane puck.
It is. And are you feeling better? How are you feeling about Navi's draft this time around? And of course, Secrets as well.
Well, first thing I want to talk about is Secret are doing a 4-position Yapsor Queen of Pain, which is
What?
Yeah, something we've seen before, and we've also seen for, but I just don't remember who has shown it. But it's definitely been a thing in like pubs. Yeah, okay, EG has done it, probably in officials. So this is another little swerve that Secret's able to do, and this is why their versatility in drafting is held to such high regard.
Right, because like the whole time we're like, oh, you can side lane the Queen of Pain. It's gonna be a core Queen of Pain, core Queen of Pain. All of a sudden, it's just a core Tusk. Like, none of us predicted that, because it's very hard with these guys.
Yeah, I think it's like, as a drafter, it's got to be so hard to keep track of all the different ways that Secret could run their heroes as they pick it, especially that first 3. This mid game Visage, though, I think is going to be monster. If he doesn't get chumped on in the laning phase, I think he's going to be a beast.
Yeah, I agree. Very good against in the game. Probably not so much in the lane. I imagine TA would probably do fine in that. And Bloodseeker too. Honestly, the Visage just there is nothing to deal with the Visage summons on Na'Vi. Nothing at all. Other than, like, you could argue the Bloodseeker, I guess. I don't know, Bloodright, Pure Dam, but not really. Not with the Visage aura.
All right. Okay, we're gonna see how this is gonna pan out. We have our beloved observer Pimp Muckle giving us the action, and of course our play-by-plays with Jenkins and Cap. Have some fun, guys.
Yeah, I like to keep the observer unnamed. Not want to deprive them of the credit, but just because I want the audience to guess who the observing is based off of their observing techniques. I don't care possibly miss a kill. I'm the greatest.
Exactly,
I know what's going to happen in the video game. You got to keep them humble.
We need some like negative reinforcement in there as well. So JJ shit.
I think that you know what's funny is, like, as a commentator, I can usually tell who's observing, because it's such a symbiotic relationship, and you spend so much time together that there's like just little things that each one does. Like JJ, for example, just to give him a little bit of credit. I don't want to give him too big of a head, but he's one of the best with the Fog of War usage. He's very good with that.
Who misses the most kills? Cap, if you were watching a game and just tons of kills missed, who would that?
I ain't trying to make any enemies here, Jenkins. Back into the game, shall we? Yapsor versus Sai, or Yapsor and Sai, the Quap Tusk duo. It's Tusk core in this situation, up against the last pick Crystallized Bloodseeker, which we actually didn't talk too much about because we were all head over heels for this Matumba Man Visage pick, which is going to be a side lane Matumba Man Visage with Nisha Magnus playing mid against Magical.
Visage in this lane, I imagine, will be pretty fine versus a puck. It's not really enough damage to threaten the Visage ever, but the Lich is a bit of a problem. I like that they are running this Lich as a position 4, which is a little weird. I mean, we didn't really talk about this, but they have a Bane Lich duo. And Puppy,
he's dead. Easy first blood. This is a very weak duo lane. The Visage Vengeful Spirit. So I imagine this may be a losing lane for Secret.
Yeah, surprisingly, I feel like you really just need to bring regen to this lane, and because these heroes just kind of slowly harass you. And Puppy did plan on that. I mean, he has the headdress. He just kind of overstepped a little bit because, and we talked about this. Puppy plays like a complete madman. This guy's always in your face, no matter what. So sometimes that can bite you.
Bottom lane, the battle. Tag team against Crystallize with a Shadow Strike on him as well. A lot of damage over time that is going to force him to back away. They're going to quickly heal up because they don't want to let these thirst charges get out of control. And they also got to keep this pressure up on Crystallize. You can see that. Another Shadow Strike out onto him, but the silence on Yapzor could lead into his death. Ilias should be able to finish him off, except for, a lot of stick charges, actually. Ilias doesn't have the mana for another Brain Sap. Healing Salve goes off, but just canceling it is good enough. And Yapzor, you can't juke in the trees against Thirst, my dude.
I see what he was trying to do. Oh, the Salve cancel on Magical. That's annoying. But I really do see what he was trying to do. He was trying to juke into the trees for long enough that he could get above that 25% threshold. But unfortunately, the salve with the nerf to 10 seconds, it wasn't quite enough. I would wager if it was still the 8-second salve duration, he would have gotten above 25% and he would have been able to juke. Because it was very close.
Or even if he was just slightly out of range, right? Of that one hit that canceled the salve right before he got into the tree, then he would have been good. But top lane, they're going to have another kill. This time it's going to be Slayer who goes down. Pasha using Phase Shift to be able to dodge the magic missile.
Wow. How in God's name are you supposed to kill a puck with Avenge? I feel like this is not possible.
No, I don't think so either. Both of your nukes are projectiles that are very easy to dodge.
Yeah, it's always really fun playing Puck versus Wraith King, for example. Just never stun the Puck. And then he summons skeletons, and you're like, how the hell do I kill these? Avenge, no skeletons to summon. She's just a stun.
Oh, nice Ice Shards in the bottom lane. They're going to go for Ilias here now. The Nightmare is going to be taken off by that silence, allowing Zai to be able to finish up that kill. But what a beautiful Ice Shards, catching the two of them together like that.
I love this Core Tusk against Bloodseeker. It feels really good. Like you have.
Oh, Nisha, be careful. Jesus, Nisha, good lord.
Just
pushing it to the edge there. He did have a Fairy Fire, so I guess everything was under control, but
well, you're playing against
making me nervous.
He's got that thirst move speed now.
Yeah, that's true. Fourth, they do manage to get the kill on top lane on the Matumba Man. Back over to bottom lane, though, where Zai is currently being chased down by Crystallize. Zai's going, please, who is so low? Why is the Crystallize running at me at near max movement speed? He was running at him at 520 movement speed.
With no boots. With no boots, by the way. That is strictly just his teammates being low HP.
So they killed both of the heroes up at top lane. He killed Matumba Man and Puppy. Asha is now immediately going to pressure Matumba Man right as he TP'd in, and it's going to be a while until this Venge gets here as well. And with all these creeps underneath the tower, they could just keep on going for it. They do lose their Lich, but if they get the kill on Matumba Man, and seeing as he TP'd in, he's going to have to make the Walk of Shame back.
I'm loving seeing Pasha being picked a winning lane. Like, he's completely destroying this lane.
Yeah.
And that call to dive Matumba Man, of course your Lich dies. Who gives a damn? It's a Lich. You have a Visage who now has no TP for 41 seconds, has to walk back to lane with 285 move speed. He doesn't even have boots. He was rushing his medallion. This is such a sad bird right now. He is not happy.
Fighting it out once again, Crystallize, seeing that he's going to have to just TP away. The Nightmare removed, but Zai can't catch up to Ilias. Doesn't mean they get control of the bounty runes, though. It's going to be a 2-for-2 split.
Crystallize is stuck in base now, too, so he's got to do the Walk of Shame as well. Both carries having to do the walk.
Yeah, it seems like it goes to what we were talking about, where off lane and safe lane, you know, it doesn't really matter which one is winning. You could just as easily prioritize your off lane, and that's what's happening here for both sides. They are getting nice and aggressive. Puppy making the TP out is going to be successful, but it does leave Matumba Man alone. He was looking for the kill onto Slayer, spots him, and does manage to get that soul assumption. Slayer, what are you doing, dog? Or sorry, yeah, Slayer. Didn't need to show himself there, but maybe that nuke will allow Pasha to be able to get this kill. The last one, a hit, and it's enough. Pasha with the mega kill streak, really taking it to
Pasha Puck, man. This guy owns that Puck. I remember back in the day, 3 months ago, way back when, watching him play Puck. Actually, it was more than 3 months ago, when Puck was actually good and Pasha was on VP. Like, he owned with this hero. So it is great to see him on a lane dominator, because a lot of the times they get the short end of the stick often. I mean, we're both offlane players. We know that. We know how it feels. But the int offlaners, those are the nice ones. Those are the ones that win the lane, because usually they're ranged. So you don't just have to take a beating. You can actually win the lane.
Yeah, I wonder if their choice of avoiding these kind of heroes has to do more with their other cores of magical and crystallines, that they're so obsessed with setting these two up for success that they just let Pasha be this super sacrificial offlaner. But Pasha is definitely showing that Na'Vi, they don't need to play that that kind of style. That they can set up Pasha for more success, and he's a level 6 Puck with the coil. He's landed on Matumba Man. Now, he doesn't have the most follow-up right away. Slayer finally showing up, but it's a bit too late to commit for that kill, and if anything, it's going to be Slayer dying here. Pasha trying to still get Matumba Man, but because the cooldown was back up on his range robs, Pasha was not able to do enough damage to kill Matumba Man.
Well, you talked about maybe Na'Vi plays with the strength offlaners because they need space creators, but this looks like a good amount of space from Pasha. Like, look at all of the juking that he's doing here. He's being so annoying. It's a nice offlane performance from Pasha. This is exactly what you want to see. I know they're kind of diving and dying a little bit up here, but it's 3 team secret heroes up here.
Yeah, and look how confident Magical is playing, seeing those 2 supports in top lane. He's now cutting the wave while simultaneously farming up neutral camps. This is a Na'Vi that is completely comfortable because they've given Magical one of his best heroes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I love this strat of just diving behind the enemy tower and farming the neutrals as well as the lane creeps. It gets you so incredibly farmed, and a lot of the time you can't do this on TA. It's a little bit dangerous, but when you're having a game like this on Magical, he can afford to do it.
And all these heroes, like all this aggression and back and forth sniping at each other is playing into Crystallized's hands, so it's going to be harder and harder. Even though they were doing a good job of keeping him down, it's becoming too hard to keep that same kind of pressure anymore. Similarly, it can be said for Matumba Man, who now has his level 6 and can summon his familiars whenever he wants.
I'm a little surprised he's not using the summon yet.
Yeah, why was that? I feel like you want to get the cooldown going as quick as possible.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's why I'm wondering, like, maybe, like, there's got to be a reason for it, right? There's got to be something. Maybe, yeah. Have to ask him. Maybe he was eating pizza and his hands were off.
And underneath the snowball, he now can turn around and maybe hit for that ultimate. He lands it now, but the snipe, it actually took it off. They didn't hit the stun, and Magical keeps on swinging for the double kill. What a play from Ilias. The read there. Now they're going to get a 3rd kill with nobody dying. What a play from this 5 position.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. I mean, also just the instantaneous response from Na'Vi, knowing that Magical is their most important hero, most farmed hero right now. Responding even with their carry, that was beautiful. God, that nightmare! What a save.
This is really solidifying for me how important though. Like, if they can get a bit of an advantage, they play a lot more comfortably than they were before, where they were so reliant on split pushing. Magical being gone on again by Sai. Sai doing it all by himself. He does have the Walrus Punch. Now the refraction is broken. Maybe he can hit that big hit, but it's not going to be nearly enough damage. Magical has 12 armor.
What is Sai doing?
I don't know.
Oh man, he's I mean, I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that there was some sort of discussion where it's like, okay, we need to farm for a bit. We need Matumba Man to get maybe his level 12 on Visage. I know a lot of Visage players really think that the familiar attack damage at level 2 in the summons is way better, and also Nisha's got to get his Blink Dagger and his, like, they have items to farm, right? So maybe Zai is just in like full space create mode right now. I don't see him doing that for any other reason. That was like way too psycho.
Yeah.
Even for,
and to be fair to him,
Zai.
It would have been closer if he had been able to break through that refraction a little bit sooner, right? Because then he gets the Walrus Punch with the tag team, and it's a significantly larger nuke.
Does the tag team take 2 refraction charges off? I don't think it does.
Yes. I thought it did before, but maybe it doesn't anymore.
I know a lot of orbs do, but it's not like a regular orb.
Yeah,
I'd have to check.
Unless something changed, I'm like 99% certain that it used to work that way.
Okay, cool. I mean, I suppose that makes a lot more sense, him going for that then. Like, TA is way more of a potential solo kill for Tusk, if that's true. Because I know it works with, like, Clinks and OD and just all these orb effects. I mean, it's still insane. It's still level 10 TA that you're trying to kill solo, but it's way more
JJ, do you know?
reasonable.
All right.
There's so many obscure
Hoping
mechanics
maybe
in this
JJ
game.
would help us out, but you know, if he had been able to answer that question, then I would have said JJ's the best cameraman out there. But you know, he choked when he was on.
Big chokes.
His reputation was on the line.
Clearly his
11 to
job
6
to
right
know
now.
these things.
12 minutes in. A 1K net worth lead for Navi. Drums for Zai after his phase boots is going to be the build there. Yapsor is going to be building towards a Fuel Scepter on his support Queen of Pain. Nisha already has the Echo Saber and is going to be getting a Blink Dagger second.
That's
But it's a lot of
big
farming
timing.
they have to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like this Magnus, the reverse polarity doesn't feel that good.
Did they catch him? Oh, he managed to get away from the silence there. So on top of that, he's going to be ruptured up as well. They really want this Visage dead. A snowball is going to be able to be a momentary reprieve, but it actually launches them into the potential chain frost, but terrible bounces. It doesn't stay on top of it. They have to overly chase for that one, and now they could be out of position as Nisha setting up for the RP, catching Crystallize alone. They swap him backwards at the same time. Fortunately, the stun landed first, so it is going to be fine. 3 dead. Is there going to be a 4th? Didn't jump to the orb. Pasha, knowing that he was going to be Ice Shard locked in, unfortunately, he just doesn't have any other choice here. He'll go down. That's a 1-for-4 exchange.
That was really cool from Zai. Like, he knew exactly where that orb was going to end. Like, it ended directly in the Ice Shards. And I know it looks less cool because Pasha is a good enough player to not take the orb, but basically what Zai did there was he gave Pasha a choice between 2 awful actions. Either you stay and you die, or you take the orb and you die. Which
Plus, he'd have to know Waning Rift was on cooldown, right?
yeah,
It came off cooldown eventually, but at the moment he could have jumped over, it was still on cooldown.
yeah, exactly. So just super nice read from Zai. And then, okay,
Oh, okay.
tag team does not work against the refraction, which I guess it does. That's what I was thinking. It's added damage, so it's okay.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's how tag team works with Walrus Punch, so I guess that makes sense. Swap back. Magical. Gonna be targeted here, but he instantly blinks away. Keeping that refraction up. Now he's gonna be stunned, and Secret's still feeling like they can go for it. Crystallize moving pretty fast. That separation, though, of the Ice Shards could be really good, but they're having such a hard time bringing Magical down thanks to Slayer, giving him the extra boost of the Frost Shield, slowing down these heroes. It's gonna be the 5 and 3 position. Dead for Secret, and they're on the retreat. Pasha is still looking for more, though. He knows Momentum Man's pretty low. Doesn't want to jump in, though, without having coil or any sort of stuns from this lineup, so Navi will now back away. They'll have a Chain Frost on Slayer, so Navi, or Secret rather, should not get too aggressive.
I want to point out that in that fight, Pasha used Phase Shift to dodge his own Bloodseeker's Blood Right. That's
Did he really?
yeah, that's that. I swear to God, if you're a puck player, you just do that by default. 'Cause you're so traumatized by like getting clipped by the Blood Right
Yeah.
that you just like instinctively Phase Shift dodge everything. It's so funny to see somebody as skilled as Pasha doing that, because it's like, God, I know how he feels. Just so traumatized. Like you get clipped by one silence on this hero, and you're done.
Hey, we never talked about this, Jenkins, but what do you think about Navi's having like the basically double 5 positions? I feel like they've done this before or something, but Lich as a 4 position?
It's a little weird, but you talked about how Pasha usually plays these like space craters, and Magical and Crystallize take a lot of farm. So maybe what their logic is that if they have these like 2 5 positions, then it'll make up for the fact that Pasha is basically playing this like more less like space creating hero, you know, like less run in there and just die for your team sort of thing. Like Puck will play in side lanes, Puck will farm, Puck will take space on the map that supports, like, let's say you have a position for Phoenix or Earthshaker, they would be taking that side. Lich or Bane, do they sit in side lanes? Hell no, are you kidding me? They stand behind heroes. So I feel like that's why. It's like the farm priority.
Nightmare on Puppy. He's going to go for the Fiend's Grip, maybe presuming that Secret isn't going to be willing to fight around here. They did TP too late to save Puppy, but they may still try and go for an engagement if Na'Vi pushes them to the high ground, right into Nisha's open, waiting arms.
Who does have the Blink Dagger now.
Yeah.
So he can get quite spooky in these fights.
But they would need Matubba Man, and he does not have a TP scroll. They're going to try for it anyway, trying to take this fight with only 3 heroes to kill on the bait, but now they're grouped up for the Chain Frost. It's going to bounce between Zai and Nisha. They're both going to die, and Crystallize looks for the extra kill on Yapzor. He does not have Rupture, so no way to really get...
It's like, what do you run out of the Bloodseeker Silence, break the coil, and then, you know, you just die to the coil and the extra damage, Schultz, or do you go together and get Chain Frosted? Like, what's the choice there?
And this kind of momentum is now really good for Na'Vi, because with the Templar Assassin, Roshan is very easy for you. So they're going to be able to get an Aegis into their hands.
I feel like that Deso statistic that we just saw, the Deso average time is largely just influenced. Like, Magical has a lower Deso time just because he went for the Blink first. Like, that's, I still think this, like, for Blink Deso, this is a really good timing to have both these items when you go for the Blink first.
Yeah, it feels like a half the time, or maybe a bit less, that Deso is going to be rushed by somebody, so the timing is definitely going to be influenced by that.
Blink is definitely way more popular now than it used to be, because there's so much fighting that's happening that you need to start participating. Otherwise, you can very easily lose the game. To the point where I almost feel like you just hedge your bets by like going for a Blink. It's like, sure, I'll farm a bit slower, but at least if I have to fight, I can be there and I can fight.
Yeah. Crystallize. If you can see Puppy, he can get off this Rupture. The Blood Right's actually going to use both here just to be able to get that kill in the 5 position. So Na'Vi, in a way, are saying they're willing to blow whatever they have to get the kills that are presented to them, because they don't think Secret's going to fight back. They don't think Secret's going to abuse, hey, some abilities are on cooldown. And I would kind of agree with that, just because Na'Vi's heroes are so strong right now.
Yeah, I totally agree with the Aegis, and also just... You can kind of get a sense for it, too, just how Secret is positioning. Although I say that, and they are looking to maybe go on the TA here.
Yeah, I mean, if any team is going to try and take advantage of this timing, it will be Secret. They're going to try and go for that first life of Magical, but he's still alive and getting out some damage while the Chain Frost is bouncing around. Another unfortunate bounce. Can they get a stun on anybody, though? Nisha TP's away. A slowdown onto Tusk. Crystallize pushing very far forward. Does have the Blade Mail, though, to protect himself as they turn onto him, but he is low. Na'Vi certainly should back up now.
This is something that you see Secret commonly do, and I love that they do this just because it kind of subverts expectations for what people do in this game usually. And that's whenever somebody has an Aegis and is playing extremely far forward, they will aggressively take smokes and make plays to the person with the Aegis just to get them to waste it. Whereas like other teams will just completely avoid the person with the Aegis and try to fight elsewhere. And that's a grip.
That is a grip into a lot of damage from Magical. So Zai certainly dead. 20-minute bounty outpost now. Matubba Man, if you could stop both of this channeling, they'll get the experience for sure. Now question is, are they going to win the fight? Yapzor, it's taken off by the birds pretty easily. Ilias in some trouble here, is caught in no man's land. His team couldn't help him, and Secret are just able to snipe him down. They're still going for this, still controlling up Magical as best as possible. Unfortunately, didn't get the chain stun of the second familiar in there.
You know how little damage the TA does to the Visage Birds? It's like, it's nothing. It's nothing at all. Because you can't take the Gravekeeper's charges off of the birds. You have to take it off of Visage, and then it's off of the birds. So
do any damage,
it doesn't.
Right? You hit him with the melds, but he's got full Gravekeeper cloak stacks.
Right, exactly. So they've been handling these team fights pretty well. Matubba Man's getting ruptured every fight. So that's kind of their answer to him. Is just, hey, you go stand over there. We'll kill you last.
Yeah. And you know what's great is that I feel comfortable with Na'Vi. I'm not that anxious about them losing their lead because it's a magical TA. You know, it's a reliable carry that we've seen from them, and him specifically carry late game scenarios so often. So while Secret will get stronger over time, I'm not having that anxiety of like, guys, you gotta end it. You gotta keep on building up this lead.
I feel that anxiety for Secret though. Like, I feel like you don't have any real late game carry other than arguably Mag. But I mean, think about the hero that I'm saying is Secret's carry. I mean, this is a traditional offlaner, right? So it's looking rough. They don't have some anti-mage or PL or Slark, but I mean, it is secret. It is also 2020. You know, there are level 30 talents. There are 60-minute items. There are ridiculous neutral items. Like, there's a lot that you can do with almost any heroes. But with that being said, Navi has a way better scaling lineup with the Bloodseeker and the TA.
Yeah, they've got a core Tusk support quap, right? If it was the other way around, then...
Where you can really fall off and feel like you're just another support. And then your quap is also like, well, YapzOr is higher level than Zai. I think that speaks to the fact that Tusk just does not scale like other cores when played in a core position.
They hit their timing. They've got to be... They want to take a fight. They immediately smoke up and just run at Navi. They quickly kill Ilias, and if this Ice Shards lands... it slightly bumped him over the edge. Crystal his runaway is going to turn around just to be able to rupture up Nisha. Nisha's not going to stop, though. He's so tanky. He's just going to keep going for it, ignoring this damage over time and beating Crystallized to death.
Yeah, nice timing to take that fight on. I mean, he didn't even have to use the BKB, but they know that Nisha is just so strong with the BKB that even if Navi does turn around and fight them, he's going to win that fight. As well as, I believe Magical was showing bottom while that was happening, so they know that it's pretty free, and basically Navi was just trying to get the hell out of dodge there.
Oh, Pasha! He gets pulled back in, but he was able to dodge the snowball hit, and he got to blink away. He's got his Dream Coil up. The Chain Frost is going to come in. That's going to be a lot of damage. The Nightmare actually saving Pasha long enough for him to be able to jump over to his orb, and now with them still locked inside the coil, Magical thinks it's time to push forward, but his Refraction gets burned through so quickly, he didn't expect that one, and Nisha is still incredibly tanky. They cannot go against this frontliner of Secret. They got to respect these team fights a little bit more. They've lost 2, maybe a third, as sure enough, YapzOr blinks in and gets the Yules on Slayer, stopping the T. A third kill, and we said Secret have to hit this mid-game timing really hard. 2 different back-to-back great team fights for them.
Now, once again, just Secret showing their prowess in team fights with the way that they went on the puck, and then still looking for more.
I would say, for my opinion, like two or three of the best teams at being able to read item timings and power spikes and just force action around that, right? OG, Secret, and then maybe EG is like more of a distant third. But I think OG and Secret are so good at that. It feels like they're losing, and then they get an item, and it's like, boom, holy shit. Team fights are entirely different, and they knew that. They knew the fights were going to be different now.
Yeah, 100%. I totally agree.
I like that we have the same teams in mind, too. It really speaks to like how far ahead they are of everybody else in that regard. I
would agree that EG, depending on how they look, I mean, EG before quarantine definitely looked really good in that respect. Of course, with like stand-ins and things like that, it's a lot more difficult. Even your individual players can look kind of rough in terms of using their power spikes. Like Arteezy, for example, kind of losing his mind with all the pubs he's playing and playing with stand-ins, you know.
And it's very traditional in EG. They're like a slower item timing team, right? Where they farm until we get to X point and then we fight them, you know? Whereas OG and Secret, it feels very dynamic, right? It's like fight them here, but don't fight them here. And then fight them again once we get this next side.
Could be early game, could be mid game timing, could be like late game. Like I don't look at Secret and think like, oh, they can't play for the late game. I really feel like they can play for whatever the hell timing they want. Maybe that won't be true in a few months from now. I don't know. It's possible, but right now, like they look just absolutely incredible at all points in the game.
They almost have an Assault Cuirass, almost. They're building towards it on Nisha. Matamaban, he's also building up some armor items. He has a plate mail. Well, I'm not sure if that's going to be Shiva's or
the instant Yules.
Well played. Pasha is going to be stuck here. Phase shift, dodge is only going to buy him so much time. That was really well played by YapzOr. Pasha having another one, but is going to fall. Really well done.
That was nice. That was so nice. Dude, Pasha was not expecting that, even remotely. Did they have vision of him? Dude, that... Oh, okay, so they caught him in the trees. They saw him with, like, creep. He precasted. I was thinking that maybe what he was doing was like spamming the on Puppy. But,
oh yeah, just like yeah.
has been
there's two ways of precasting. Either you spam it on a hero you know is going to get initiated on, or you just get somebody when they're showing just barely through in fog.
Trying to sneak a Roshan. Magical in position for it, but there's a Helmet Dom creep in there. Meanwhile, Crystallize got a little far forward there and quickly gets his head caught off, and unfortunately Slayer's going to be joining him in the grave. Not before he kills Puppy, though, thanks to some good Chain Frost bounces. Now, Magical on the other side with the Fiend's Grip. They're going to be able to get Zai as he retreated back to the high ground, not expecting some heroes to be behind them like that. RP going out, Pasha trying to quickly kill him, and they do manage to do so. Magical will manage to blink away, so his refraction was still up. The triple kill for Matumba Man, but I don't think enough of a pick off for them to go high ground. They can instead go back for Roshan, maybe.
One thing I do want to point out about the way that Secret is playing this game speaks to what you were saying about how they're such a dynamic team that can play for like whatever timing. I feel the same thing about their roles in the game, where like Puppy, he's Avenged Spirit right now, right? This is intentional. This is by design. Like, he is running into every single fight. They're letting him farm lanes solo, and he's getting gone on first, because guess what? When he dies, he just respawns as an illusion with a Vlad's aura. So normally you'd think in a Dota game, oh, that's your offlaner, right? That's the guy that runs in first. Nope. It's Puppy. It's a position 5 in this game. Why? Because it's Secret, and they don't give a shit about roles. They never have.
So patches ago when the Aghanim Scepter was you being able to cast illusions or cast spells with your illusion, I was playing offlane Vengeful Spirit, and people were asking me like, why? I mean, it's weird, but isn't it also boring? And I said, what could possibly be more boring than dying and not being able to play Dota? With Vengeful Spirit, that's never the case. You die, you get to keep playing. You still get to have an impact on the game. That Vengeful Spirit, like, it runs around, it can hit things. Yapzor, going to be caught by the coil, but he did have the Yule Scepter to stall things out, but he is going to be hit by the Meld Strike. Swap back, but he was still in range of those, so he gets hit by both spells and instantly popped. Puppy almost dead, but Magical having his refraction burn through. Nisha with all that physical damage rips him apart. Crystallize is going to be next. That Blade Mail won't save you from Nisha. The big bad boy of Secret with the Magnetar is one by one tearing Na'Vi a new one. 3 heroes dead, and they can march down mid if they want to. Pasha knows that too, and that's why he's going to try and cut some creep waves, keep that backdoor protection up. Secret seeing that, say, okay, well played, Pasha. We won't be able to go high ground, but we will still take Roshan.
And Pasha playing it a little bit safe here, just thinking, okay, maybe they're rushing, but also maybe they're looking for me, so I'm going to be a bit careful here.
Can he do anything here? Unfortunately, the use of the orb means that he can't really get inside the pit anymore. Nice preemptive snowball just in case.
Love that play. Always protects against any of these pesky Aegis stealers when you have one of these AoE stunners. Even something as simple as a Tusk.
There's the Shivas for Matumba Man, by the way.
As if he wasn't already unkillable. Like, I really feel like there's nothing to deal with Matumba Man and his birds. Like, I feel like what's just happening in these fights is Secret doesn't even need to use the RP. They're just running Matumba Man and all of his summons plus Nisha at whatever hero is on the front line. They're literally just going in the 2 cores of Na'Vi and ignoring everybody else, because both of these 2 cores of Secret are unkillable if they press BKB, and Matumba Man's just unkillable. I mean, now he has an Aegis too, so looking a lot more rough.
Yeah, the double armor items, it's going to be so hard for Magical to carry this game now, because Crystallize has definitely fallen off. He was really not that big of an impact. His Rupture isn't even that good, because like, you see Nisha just ignore it. He's got 3,300 HP when he pops Strength Treads, you know? Like, he just is like, what's 100 damage every few seconds? Like, that's no big deal.
And Visage is legitimately taking like 95% less damage from physical between his Gravekeepers and his 40 armor.
Yeah.
He is taking no damage. Effectively,
they
no
do
damage
have they do have Repair Kit, so that will slow down this push. But Na'Vi, ultimately, they have to be able to show they can win a fight during this timing. And it's not looking possible. In fact, Na'Vi themselves do not seem super anxious for this fight. They may just give up the melee barracks or get initiated on. A coil that goes out from Pasha looks good, but there's no damage to follow it up. Magical from a distance is trying to hit some